Okay, girls. So we are back to discuss about the purposes of public debt. Purposes of public debt. It can be also said what is the importance of public debt, what are the objectives of public debt, or what are the purposes of public debt. So, what purpose public debt has been incurred? Okay. So, what is the first purpose of public debt? So the first one is bridging gap between revenues and expenditure. Bridging gap between revenue and expenditure. Where does it happen? It happens whenever government produces a deficit budget. So it often happens that towards the end of the financial year, government experiences shortage of funds. To cover this gap between revenue and expenditure, the government raises temporary loans or gets ways and means advance from the central bank. In India, the government issues what are called treasury bills, which are repayable after 3 months. So you see, so whenever as the government moves forward, what happens? It experiences financial crunch or shortage of funds. So in order to cover this gap between revenue and expenditure, government raises temporary loans to get the or gets ways and means advance from the central bank. So in India, the government issues what are called treasury bills, which are repayable after 3 months. That is the first purpose of incurring public debt, bridging the gap. Second is financing public works programs. So why public debt is incurred? This also is a reason. Financing public works program. So what are public works program? Public works program is first mentioned by J.M. Keynes in his book Employment, Interest and General Theory of Employment, Interest and Money, published in 1936. So where he says during depression, government has to launch public works programs to provide employment. So in this way, money is injected into the economy to lift the depression. For this purpose, it becomes necessary to raise public loans to ensure economic stability. So leave alone during depression, that is happens especially in developed countries. In developing economies, what has called we don't face depression, but we have huge amount of unemployment, right? So if the government starts public works programs, then it will create employment and income in the hands of people. Okay, so financing public works programs. Third objective of purpose of public debt is curbing inflation. Curbing inflation. So when inflation is rampant, it is desired to bring down the prices, the government issues public loans. So as you know, um, people have inflation is a situation where people spend more, right? They have a lot of money in their hands. So what the government does, government issues government bonds and securities, etc., and take away the money from the public through loans. So in this way, money or purchasing power is drawn from the public. So reduction in money supply will bring down the prices. So another purpose for public debt is to curb inflation or check inflation or reduce inflation. Okay. And the fourth purpose is or objective is financing economic development. So as I told you earlier also in the class in the PPT, that is in the underdeveloped countries are very ambitious in order to speed up their economic development. because underdeveloped countries are already underdeveloped, which means most of their resources are not utilized fully. Because of that, so the what are the resources? Land, labor, capital, and organization, which are the broad category of resources. So land is not fully utilized, labor is not fully utilized, so we have unemployment, capital is not fully utilized, and of course the entrepreneurial skill is not properly tapped, and as a result of that, economy is remaining in a underdeveloped. So in order to, in all these countries, for a speedy economic development, government needs more money, huge investment is needed. So they are unable to raise adequate finances through taxation. Hence, resort to public borrowing becomes necessary. Okay, hence resort to public borrowing. And the fifth reason or objective or purpose of public debt is financing public sector. So, as you know, government also runs different institutions which are called public sector undertakings. So, such public sector undertakings, money is huge amount of money is needed. Usually, public sector undertakes those projects which private sector or individuals cannot undertake at the present moment, or it needs a huge amount of initial investment. So, such development or such project will be should be undertaken by the government. So, when the government undertakes it, it needs huge amount of investment. So, government resorts to borrowing. So, economic system which is becoming increasingly popular is that of mixed economy, right? For several reasons, economic, political, social, and there has to be rapidly expanding public sector. The financing of the sector is not possible without resort to public borrowing. Financing of this public sector is not possible without resort to public borrowing. Then another purpose is war finance. No country can finance a war by itself. Maybe America, maybe or developed countries may have resources to fight a war, but usually all other countries are very weak. So modern war is a very costly affair. To prosecute a modern war, a taxation is simply out of the question. So public borrowings becomes essential. Thus, public borrowing is necessitated by the requirements of filling the gap between revenue and expenditure, public programs, economic development, and war finance. So these are the different purpose or objectives or reasons for which government borrows. This also can be stated reasons for increasing public debt due to all these kind of things. Okay, girls. So I stop here.